1, 0, and liftoff.
Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Mission Control. This is your host, Ramon Peralta with Peralta Design, and we launch brands. We're very excited to be swinging into this episode. We have a very special guest in studio. Please join me in welcoming LPGA Pro, Miss Estela Morales Segarra.
Gracias, Ramon, por la invitación. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes. Thank you for being here, taking some time off the course and helping me with my putting a few minutes ago.
You're doing great.
Estela, join me also in welcoming Jorge Peso Candelario, our right-hand man here and our director of web development.
How's it going, everyone? Excited to be here. This should be a great show. We love Mission Control. It is always on the mission.
Yes, the mission is helping kids in this episode. We're going to get to that and everything you're doing for kids. I mean, I was amazed that just last year you were named LPGA 2025 Northeast Junior Leader of the Year.
Yes.
The fans, they're going crazy. What was that like?
Oh, wow. That was really an incredible, experience and to celebrate with my students, right, who are my inspiration, including my son, Christian. He started playing golf when he was 4 years old. Now he's 13. I've been doing golf lessons for children since I came to the United States in 2008. I joined the first tee as a volunteer and then as an assistant coach. And then I have programs since I became an LPGA in 2022. I have programs with girls, the LPGA Girls Golf, PGA Junior League, and our AmiGolf Academy at Kinney Park, So one of the reasons we are here, we're going to talk about it.
Before we get into that, though, you've been breaking barriers, just being a woman in golf. And I know there were some clubs where they didn't even allow women for a very long time, never mind Latina women. So talk a little bit about how important it is to have a seat at the table, to be in the room and to be present.
Yes, it's very important, and it's very interesting because now that you said, sometimes it happens that I'm the only woman and the only female in the room and Latina. Like when I did my certification for the PGA Hope with the PGA section, it was like I was the only Latina and just a couple of other women and then 25 men. Right, so is breaking barriers, and then that's another reason why when I came here, I was like, I thought I was gonna find a lot of Latinas playing in the golf course, and it wasn't like that. And a couple leagues that I was playing, I was the only Latina. So when I met these other two women, Carmen Sierra and Lina Rodriguez, who know more Latinas, we co-founded the Latinas Golf Team. And it's about breaking barriers because also when I became LPGA, I asked one of the directors, how many Latinas we have in the membership? And she said, less than 2%.
Wow.
So I was like, we need to do something. So I started getting involved. I volunteer in the new members committee, it's a national committee with the LPGA. I am also, it kind of disappeared, but we had the the diversity, equity, inclusive committee. Mm-hmm. And then I've been doing girls golf with the LPGA, so I'm in the experts committee. This is my second year. So I try to get involved because it's important, like you said, be at the table.
Yeah, and I think a lot of women and Latinos, young people, wherever you feel like you don't, I don't know, this, some folks call it imposter syndrome is kind of the term for it, but sometimes you are in the room for whatever reason, you're there, your qualifications, you meet all the requirements, somebody opened the door for you, you got in, but once you're in, you might still feel like you don't belong. Have you ever felt that way, and what have been some of the ways that you've dealt with it, maybe some of the strategies you use to be in there and still perform?
Yes, definitely. It can be intimidating, right? Especially as a Latina, especially because I learned English as a second language when I came to United States when I was 30 years old. So it was like a challenge, and it sometimes is in my head that I have an accent, and I feel like, okay, so how I'm gonna, this is all professionals, but then I have to be confident and remind myself that I'm also a professional, that I also, I've been doing this for as long 20 years, and I belong. So it's like I coach my students, so I need to start coaching myself that I can do this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's a great point. It's giving yourself that motivational pep talk. Self-talk, the way we talk to ourselves is so important. You can talk yourself out of a situation, you can talk yourself in. There's that famous quote, I think it's by Henry Ford, where it's like, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Either way, you're right. So you might as well believe in yourself.
Yes, and empower yourself, because that's what that's what I do with my students, little ones, older ones, the women, the men. I coach one of the CEOs, right? And then he was struggling, and I was like, believe in yourself. You are the CEO of this company. I mean, you can do it. You have a vision. You are visionary to do so many things in your company. So you can do it the same in golf. And he just start hitting the driver like amazing, like. So sometimes this is a mental game.
It
right?
is. It is. I love that.
I love to hear you say that, because in my limited experience with golf, I have found that to be the biggest hurdle. You don't even realize when you start overthinking it. It's over. Like, there are so many little things to adjust, so many little things to think about, and you're trying to absorb all of the tips that everyone's giving you. And you have, a friend telling you this and a pro telling you that, and like, how do I combine all that into one thing? And once you start just going with the flow, that changes everything.
I was just gonna say it's about energy flow. Go with is like follow the energy flow. Yeah.
How do you keep that mindset for 18 holes? Because like for me, when I get to like hole 15 or 16, I may have a bad hole or two, and I just say to myself, like, keep the wheels on. And so how do you mentally, how do you keep in the game?
Yeah, it's a mental game, and I would like to share my experience when I had to pass the test to become an LPGA. The first round, I was like playing in the zone, like it was amazing. It was like I ended playing like just amazing round. But then I start thinking about the score. If I keep playing like this, I start putting too much the math. So then I started struggling, and then I was like, oh my God. So I had 4 more holes to play, and I was like, I'm not gonna give up. I cannot let this go. I make mistakes, but then I came back and start like being focus, and then my goal was to pass that test, and then I ended doing pars and a birdie and just playing again.
You turned it around.
Yes, because I had to talk to myself, like we were saying, right? So if I continue doing this, making more mistakes, I'm just gonna let this go, and my goal is to accomplish this. So I really had to talk to myself, because I didn't want to bring a caddy, because I was like, I don't want to blame someone else. This is my responsibility. Yeah. So yeah, I had to.
There's definitely a lot of it's like golf sometimes can be a metaphor for life. It's very similar. Like how I like to tell people, well, people think you make deals on the course, but actually you just get to see what a person's really like on the course. Depending on how life comes at you, you may react differently. And it's the same way with golf. If everybody can be happy when you're hitting nice shots. It's like, how do you react when something doesn't go your way, or you get a bad bounce, or you get that lip out after you make a nice putt? It's how you react.
Yes.
And how do you bounce back?
Yes, 100%. And I compete a lot in Mexico when I was younger in the North Zone. And I'm telling you, I was one of those girls that I never get upset for a bad shot. I always knew I was going to, okay, it's a bad shot, but here's the next one, right? And I had all the other kids or friends that they were getting mad and they were throwing clubs, and they were like really upset, and then the bad energy became coming and coming, right? But when you are relaxed, happy, the good things start happening. But one of my biggest mentors is my father, because he is the one that introduced me to play golf, and he supported me a lot. Both of my parents, right? But he was the one that was a golfer, and I'm telling you, when I was competing, he never told me go and win or do this good or bad. No, he was just telling me have fun. Diviértete. That was his words, and that was when he was following me, right? When we were competing, and he was giving me always my space, and he was always there and smiling and telling me, you can do it. Si se puede. Have fun, you know? So that was the way that he was coaching me,
right.
basically.
Right.
So I think that was the
secret. It
secret.
wasn't about being perfect.
No,
yeah.
nothing. And I
or
was
getting mad when you didn't do the best shot. Yeah.
Yeah. So I try to do the same with my students, right?
Right. You're working with a lot of kids, and you've written a book that we're going to talk about, a kid's book that looks cute.
For your son, I have a copy for your grandson.
My grandson. Thank you.
Luca.
Luca, yes. He's going to love that. Did you ever get a chance to meet Lorena Ochoa?
No, yet. It's in my bucket list too.
But she was the top Mexican at one point.
Yes, she is. And she went to, she was one of the special guests in some of the tournaments in my town when I grew up in Mexico, but I was already here in America. Mm-hmm. But 3 years ago, for the first time, when I went to the PGA show, because you came this year, I met Nancy Lopez.
Oh, yes.
So every year that I go now, I take
Not my wife,
picture.
Nancy Lopez, but her name is Nancy Lopez.
Yes.
But the golfer, Nancy Lopez.
The legend.
A legend.
Legend, yes. Yeah. I grew up with watching her. She was on top of the world.
She's a beast.
Yes. So, and she's still, alive with us. And we have in the LPGA, we have an award that is on her name, the Nancy Lopez Award. And one day I would love to get that one. That's in my bucket list too. But yeah, I take my picture with her.
Awesome. Well, when we come back, we're going to hear all about your story, how you got into golf, your journey here, and all the great things you're doing for our kids.
Thank you, Ramon. Muchas gracias.
At Peralta Design, social causes are very important to us. One of our trusted community partners and clients is Catalyst CT. Catalyst CT believes in social change that creates a lasting impact on community well-being. Catalyst CT tackles the tough issues that youth, families, and communities often face by preventing street violence, mediating and resolving conflict, improving school climate, boosting mental health, and planting the seeds for a healthy, safe, and restorative life. For more information on Catalyst CT, visit catalystct.org.
We want brains.
And we're back. Please help me welcome once again LPGA Pro Estela Morales Segarra.
Hey!
The fans
nice.
are going wild.
Oh, I love it. Thank you, Ramon.
They're going wild. Thank you. Thanks for being here. And great first segment. Tell us, you mentioned your dad quite a bit, and you lit up when you talk about him and his method of coaching. Tell us a bit about what it was like coming up, and share your story with our listeners.
Thank you, Ramon. Yes. So I was introduced to golf by my father in Mexico. He wanted to start his business in accounting. So he started trying golf. And one day he asked me to go with him. It was just a great time. Just the fact to be with him. And then I love just golf. And he saw that. My mom and my dad, they support me to do junior traveling, and I compete in the North Zone, and then I got involved in my golf course, in the women league. At one point I was, one of the president, so taking leadership too. Mm-hmm. but when really and then my background is in business administration and accounting, same. But when I came to this country, so my husband was like, when he saw my picture, maybe you should try something related to coaching or golf or something, right? He was the first one. So when I came here, I volunteered with the First Tee. And it's an organization that they do a lot of things for kids. And then I started coaching as an assistant coach. This is in 2008. And then, I started also, coaching, but I was working at the school system too, because, I needed to have a full-time job. And this golf, I do it for fun. It's my part-time, like my hobby and my passion. And then in 2018, because I was playing in a couple of the leagues, I was like, where are the Latinas, right? So as I said, I met Carmen Sierra and Lina Rodriguez, and we put together the Latinas Golf Team. And now I became an LPGA in 2022. I was encouraged by my friends, family. I was already mentoring some of the Latinas team. And now I had an opportunity to coach other women, like from the Travelers company. They have a
From the Travelers
group.
Championship.
Yeah, so the women that work there at the insurance company, they have a program that is called She Golfs, where they introduce hundreds and hundreds of women every year. And then with the adult education Windsor, I collaborate with them to introduce women to golf. There is another organization that is Women Connecticut Council Women Council, that is a big group too, that every summer we introduce women to play golf. The Venus Society, and there is a couple more. The LPGA amateurs, I'm going to start coaching them this year. And other women in the manufacturing, they call me, so we're going to do those lessons at Kinney Park. And I do both. Like I have like the programs at Goodwin Park and at Kinney Park, in both places, because I'm from Hartford. I live in Hartford, so I like to do things there. And then with the kids, right? So I have programs in collaboration with them, because I think collaboration is key, Ramon. We cannot do this alone, and I get all the support because that's the only way that we can grow the game of golf. And with the First Tee, I have the LPGA Girls Golf in collaboration with them, and then at Kinney Park we do the PGA Junior League, and the AmiGolf Academy as well. So teenagers too. We're gonna coach some teenagers at Goodwin Park from the school, and yeah, I mean, I keep myself busy. And I just went this weekend to coach 30 Latinas because the LPGA hired a couple of the pros. I was one of them, and it was at the Chevron Championship in Texas. So it was a great experience. I mean, it's just the camaraderie, the being together,
What's it like? Like when you show up and you got your LPGA pin, and what's that like? That you mentioned camaraderie. Is it like a tight group of pros? I imagine not that many women are pros either.
Yeah,
pros.
It was with me 4 LPGAs that we run the class for 30 women. So we have 3 stations, and then I was the lead instructor. So I had to come early and prepare the stations for them, and go around. We introduce. We have another leader that she was the one that actually set up everything with the Latinas that were taking the clinics, and then us, coming there. She came the day before and set up everything. So we all, kind of get to meet, and we run the clinics, and then we had a networking hour. And so it was just great because I get to see also a dear comadre, friend, amiga del alma, Azucena Maldonado, she's the founder of Latina Golfers Association, and she just she's the one that runs a lot of clinics too for Latinas. So she invite, because she has contacts in Texas. She's from California, but she has contacts in Texas. So she got together with all these Latinas. So it was great to just be around with them. Yes.
Very cool. Very cool. And you mentioned you got the PGA card in 2022.
Yes.
So prior to that, are you coaching, or like when does it become like you have to have that card in order to be an official instructor? Correct?
Yes, correct. So it was during pandemic. During the pandemic, I've been thinking about, like I said, I co-founded Connecticut Latinas Golf Team in 2018. Then I start coaching mentoring the women, and then my friends and family start like, well, you should be a pro, so you already like helping here and there.
Make it official.
Yeah, make it official. So yeah, with that encouragement and so the opportunity came because one of the pros at Keeney, he needed help too to coach, and then I called the LPGA. They were so friendly, So and then the pandemic was the perfect time because we had the time, right? We went sent home, stay there. We really didn't have much work to do. So instead of for me thinking about all this negativity, so I utilized the time to study, because we were having all these homeworks and readings and we had to find students, which some of the Latinas golf team were my students, so I can present my my videos and they can
I saw you fixing someone who had a chicken wing. That's a very common I do that sometimes. It's a very common flaw.
Yeah.
for golf swings.
Yes. So we use the glove.
Yeah, put the glove or a towel or something. Yeah.
Under your yeah, so it's been a quite great experience. But I think in my father, as I said, he's been a great mentor in my life, not just for golf, but for life. And when he started his business in Mexico in accounting, I know it was dark days, it was, but for him, it was about being proactive, being positive, have faith that things will come good, so and don't give up, right? So he was that kind of person, and I feel like I practice those values. And in difficult times, he said, work 16 hours, in difficult times, because then you will succeed. And it's true. I work a lot, and I don't even know. People ask me, how you have the time? And I said, I don't have the time, but I make the time, I just organize my time so I can. Sometimes you find me cooking at 5 a.m., so because I need to leave my dinner ready.
Right.
So and things, because I still am a wife, I have a child, and I do golf, and I work at the Hartford Parkway Library as coordinator of the financial literacy.
Wow.
So,
and that's a good segue into your book. You want to tell us a little bit about what inspired the book?
Yes. Well, the book, my son inspired me, and my father, because in this book, Christian the ball picker, that was one of my.
Does that mean he was finding the balls out on the fairway and picking them up?
Because so at first, I had an idea to call Christian the caddy. But we don't really use caddies anymore, right? Like really, like
recreational.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then I thought that would be nice, right? And then I came up with this idea. Okay, maybe he find the balls and he collect them, and I started writing the story. I think it's a good story. So, but Christian in this book is he lives with his abuelo Juan, which is my dad. And then I'm the coach, so he has that barrier that he's limited to really practice because he doesn't have clubs. He used the Abuelo Juan clubs, but there are
Which
no.
are too big for him,
yeah,
maybe.
and heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he feels intimidated because he's picking up balls. You know, that's his role, but he's not really playing, so he's intimidated by the other ones. But then one day the flyer of the AmiGolf Academy, you know. They found it, and Abuelo Juan encouraged him to join because there is kids his age, so where is inclusion? We talk about inclusion, and then he makes friends, right? So with good guidance, being positive, si se puede, right? So I said some Spanish words there, and with his friends he can be confident, and he experienced that, and now he still work at the golf course picking up balls for his collection, but yeah, he also enjoys playing with friends. And one day, because Abuelo Juan, he had a couple hole-in-ones, but one day Christian dreams about making a hole-in-one, and then when Christian saw the book, My Son for Real Life, this is a true story, he's like, Mommy, why I didn't make a hole-in-one in the book? He was upset.
He had a chance.
He was mad at me. You shouldn't say that. I say, no, Christian, this is not about winning and all that. This is about friendship and perseverance. And so I had to change the story a little bit and say, but one day you will make one. So maybe in the second book,
Part 2.
yeah, part 2, we'll talk about it. But right now I had to teach Christian that also is sometimes not about winning, right? It's about
good lesson there.
Yeah, about
Absolutely.
making friends and enjoying the game and life and all that.
Excellent. So you're doing a lot. LPGA, USGA Girls Golf Site Director, PGA Junior League Coach, cardio golf. What's cardio golf?
Yes, thank you because sometimes, so many things that I forgot to mention this or forgot to mention this person. And when I said about the LPGA, I just want to say hi to the headquarters, Laura Diaz, because she was the one that organized all this, the Chevron Championship. And I was like, I should have mentioned her. Le mando un abrazo a Laura Diaz. So about all these programs, and what was the question?
Cardio golf.
Cardio golf, yes, cardio golf. I don't want to forget because last year, the winner of the Nancy Lopez Award was the creator of cardio golf.
Oh, wow.
And it happens that her father is Mexican. So we got a great connection for that. And I started doing cardio golf because right after I finished my LPGA Class A, because I did it like in a time record, So I started in the pandemic, 2020. And then I did it in 2 years. But the LPGA told me, maybe it will take you 5 or 3 years. But with the pandemic, they had to, reduce the time, and then it was a seminar that we had to travel, but because of the traveling it was bad, so I was able to do it online. So anyway, I knew I need to continue learning more. So what I did is I reached out to Cardio Golf and I did the certification. So Cardio Golf is making the mechanics of the swing without hitting the ball, and you can do it indoor. So this is a great program that I do in the winter at the gyms.
Oh, nice. So it's good for mobility, flexibility, stretching.
Correct.
Yeah, excellent. I had to mention my favorite Mexican golfer is Lee Trevino.
Oh, yes.
Supermex. Yeah.
Yes.
I got a chance to meet him once.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. He's just, I just love watching
He's
his
usually
videos.
at the PGA show, so
Yeah.
maybe next
next
year
year.
that you go.
Yeah.
Put it in your bucket list.
Definitely. Let's talk about your birthday that's coming up
thank
and how
you.
we're celebrating it with the Tee It Up for Kids Classic on Friday, June 26th. Maybe tell a little bit about it, and so we can promote it. Get some more people to sign up.
Thank you, Ramon. And I want to thank you and thank Diane Alverio, who was the one that connected us, right? Because as
Shout
we
out to
said,
Diane,
shout out to Diane, because connections, collaboration is key. Thank you for being in the committee, right, for this event. Glorimar Hickman, you, Juan Rivera, Diane, la hija de Diane, Rebecca, ¿cómo se llama? Jordan, Edna y Aura Alvarado. So, gracias a todos ustedes. Thank you very much. This event is, yes, I'm turning 50 years old. Can you believe it? And I'm like, oh my God, I really need to do something like a special. I knew I was going to play golf. I wanted to play golf. But I was like, I don't want to just play golf by myself. I want to play with and celebrate something, you know. And last year, like we talked about this award, the for the kids, the Northeast Junior Leader of the Year, and I was like, I need to do something for the kids, right? And the biggest challenge is, because when I get grants or something or support, sometimes I get luck of buying clubs, because the grants don't support that. They support coaching or they support other things, but no buying clubs. So that's one of the biggest challenges, because I have some of the students, the parents, that cannot afford to buy clubs, but they come and they practice for every week, but they need to practice during the week, right? Mm-hmm. So I would love to fundraise some money, that whatever we can do, to buy clubs for them. So this event is happening Friday, June 26th at Kinney Park. We need to get 100 players, because, you know, it's going to be a shotgun, and the golf course needs to be full. We're going to provide lunch and dinner and prizes, of course, and a lot of fun and good vibes, and, you know, I hope
and celebrate. Yeah. And so, you know, just briefly here, just to share a little bit about AmiGolf. It is a charity that this tournament is going to be a charity fundraiser to raise funds for AmiGolf, which is a children's golf program which ensures financial barriers don't prevent any child from participating in the sport. So it's about access.
Yes.
It's you know, I mean, a lot of us just play basketball because we can put up a milk crate and cut a hole in it,
yes,
or football, but golf sometimes is prohibitive because you need clubs, you need need shoes, and this will help you get equipment for these.
Yes,
for these
and
young
access
kids.
is true. Access to play the golf course, because that's another challenge, right? I can run a lesson, they let me use the range, but then the access to the course can be a challenge. So those two things, golf course, so that where they can play. Some holes and clubs.
Excellent.
That will be.
So for those listening, to register or become a sponsor, or to just make a donation to help Estela celebrate her birthday and raise funds for AmiGolf, you can visit bit.ly/2026 Tee It Up. That's the Estela Morales Segarra's Tee It Up for Kids Classic on Friday, June 26th.
Yes, and if they just Google, honestly, like AmiGolf, Estela Morales Segarra, they'll find the information.
Yes. AmiGolf is AmiGolf, AmiGolf Academy.
Yes, we try to squeeze the two words in one.
Yeah, you combined it. But thank you, Estela, for everything you're doing for our kids.
Oh, thank you, Ramon, and your team here. Thank you, guys.
Great to have you.
Excellent, awesome.
All right.
And, we'll keep working on my putting.
Oh, yeah, and you're full swing. No, you did better than me, I think. Thank you, guys.
All right,
I'll
everybody.
see you soon.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to this episode of Mission Control. Until next time, this is your host, Ramon Peralta with Peralta Design, and we launch brand.